Hey guys, Rominating Reaper here. So, the weather is great, so there's only one way to spend it inside the cinema. Jokes aside, this is one I've been really looking forward to. One of my most anticipated films of the year, Mickey 17. Newest film from Bong Joon Ho, obviously with lots of like sort of cloning stuff with Robert Pattinson. This looks absolutely bonkers, looks like a great time, so I'm hoping that yes, this will be a very unique, memorable big screen experience. But there's only one way to find out, and that is to head in, get some snacks, and get seated for Mickey 17. So yeah, I've got my popcorn here and I found it, ready for some wacky cloning antics with Robert Pattinson. So yeah, Mickey 17, back from seeing it, is directed by Bong Joon Ho. It's also produced by Brad Pitt under his Plan B label. This, of course, is Bong's directorial follow-up to Parasite, which smashed right through the cultural barrier to win Best Picture at the 2020 Oscars. Jesus, that was 5 years ago. And yes, this very much looked to be that sort of post-Oscar thing of getting a blank check to do something completely insane, because while yes, this is based on a book titled Mickey 7, the trailers very much look to be going all in on high-concept, wacky, dark comedy sci-fi antics, which certainly looked to be quite unlike anything else on the market right now. But does it live up to the high standard set by Bong's Oscar winning previous film? And does it deliver on its own weird premise? Well, let's find out. So the film follows Mickey Barnes, who signs up to join a 4-year space expedition to colonize a far-off planet, Niflheim, led by politician Kenneth Marshall. Mickey signs up for the role of an expendable, which involves him carrying out the most dangerous jobs in order to create a suitable habitat for humans. Every time he dies, a new version of him is printed out with his genetic information and memories stored. And this goes like clockwork until one day one of the clones, number 17, survives and returns to his room to find another version of him, number 18, sleeping in his bed, which soon causes a bit of a crisis. So, obviously, following up Parasite is a very difficult act, especially with a film that looks as bonkers as this. And I'm going to be upfront, this is not going to be for everyone. In fact, I imagine there's going to be a fair few people that absolutely hate this. Me, myself, though, I actually really dug it. It's just such an oddball, wacky concoction, and yet its weirdness kind of won me over. Now, it does take a little bit to find its footing. You have to get through a fair bit of, sort of voiceover exposition, setting up Mickey as a character and the circumstances that led him to where he is now, before the story can really get going. But once it does, this thing is just filled to the brim with ideas. And not just the sort of obvious, like, sci-fi world building stuff, whether it be the sort of mechanics of the human printing machine, or the sort of, 4-year colony, or even the planet they want to inhabit, and the creatures that live on it. All that stuff is really cool and really interesting. But what this has going for it is a lot of fairly contemporary commentary. Whether it be sort of questions raised about the sort of ethical implications of these sort of breakthrough innovations for the future of mankind. Also, some stuff about class divisions, much like in Bong's last film, but also done differently, wherein, it very much looks at the top 1% and how they view the lower classes as, disposable, basically just expendable cannon fodder to do their bidding. But there's also a healthy helping of contemporary political satire, specifically pertaining to the tangerine tyrant himself, Donald Trump. And let's be real, the parallels are not exactly subtle, but you know, the bluntness is very much the point. It very much is presenting this, this leader, who presents himself as this figure of power and charisma, but also has to secretly rely on his wife to, to sort of guide him in what to say. And also, just no matter the terrible shit he does, his followers will just lap it up. I mean, literally in an early scene, his followers are literally wearing red caps. Like, it really is not subtle about what it's trying to say. But again, the bluntness is the point, and all of this is again wrapped around weird sci-fi antics, which are grounded in a sort of sense of heart in a sort of unconventional coming of age story. Yeah, you're gonna have to trust me on that one. Yeah, you got to see it for yourself to really understand what I mean by that. Now, it's also got a fair helping of dark humor, and I gotta say, it's definitely not quite as funny as I was expecting it to be. That's not to say it's not funny at all, because there are definitely a fair share of moments that actually really did have me laughing. A highlight being the dinner scene with Kenneth Marshall. But yeah, I wasn't as consistently laughing my ass off as I was expecting to be. And I think definitely this might be attributed to the fact that sort of Bong's weird sensibilities may well have been lost in translation for English audiences. But the film more than makes up for that with some jaw-dropping craft, because this is a big budget film, cost like 118 million, and you can see every penny of that on the screen. There's some absolutely fantastic effects, particularly for the creatures that inhabit this planet that that they're trying to colonize. There's also a lot of what appears to be practical sets, specifically for the corridors and rooms of this colony ship. And yeah, just a lot of fantastic old school sci-fi craft mixed in with obviously contemporary CGI, and you can really see a ambitious, big scale bit of gonzo sci-fi. There's also fantastic cinematography and a great score that really does serve to enhance the wacky atmosphere. And it's really sold by fantastic acting, both the serious stuff and the comic stuff. Obviously, we have Robert Pattinson. He does a fantastic job as both versions of Mickey. Very much does a great job imbuing them with distinct personalities. Number 17 is sort of more meek and feeble, very much the beta, if you will. While number 18 is, he's angry and driven by a desire to basically just kill anything that moves. Sort of a nutcase, but also, in a way, the alpha of the pair, and Pattinson really does a great job in selling the contrast between these two, and also his voice work, sounding a lot like Steve Buscemi, yeah, is great. He's sort of deadpan and very, very funny. You also have Naomi Aki as Nasha, Mickey's girlfriend, who on the one hand is a loving partner, and the two of them have great chemistry that you can really buy into their relationship. There's also that sort of comedy element of her excitement at there being two versions of her boyfriend, but also she's fiercely skilled and incredibly capable. She can more than hold her own, and she does a fantastic job with that. I also have Steven Yeun, Invincible himself, as Mickey's slimeball friend, Timo. Yeah, he is great. What I was not expecting to see, but really enjoyed the presence of nonetheless, is Tim Key, as who's basically the number one Kenneth Marshall fan, who basically becomes like the colony's announcer. He's a very entertaining presence. Of course, we also have Mark Ruffalo as Kenneth Marshall, who is, really having the time of his life doing this real larger than life impersonation of the Tangerine Tyrant. And yeah, you can just see him having a blast just hamming it up. I also have Tony Collette as his slightly mad wife who's obsessed with sauces. They are a very, very fun pairing. And yeah, this great ensemble cast really carry the film along through its unconventional structure because despite the big budget, there's no real action set pieces to speak of. Well, until the final act, where yes, there is the sort of big centerpiece action moment with a big explosion featured as well, which is very, very entertaining and also serves to deliver some great emotional payoffs throughout the film. Yeah, it is great, great stuff. Overall, Mickey 17 is certainly not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but those on its wavelength will really enjoy it as an oddball, darkly comic bit of high concept, timely sci fi. It is definitely one made for the big screen. Out of 10, Mickey 17 gets an 8. So yeah, let me know down in the comments. Have you seen Mickey 17? What did you think of it? What did you make of it in comparison to Parasite? And are you looking forward to seeing what Bong does next? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.